All right, so let's start. Welcome to all the participants for this very amazing and one of its own course in India. Um, the name of the course is Full Stack Finance. इसको full stack क्यों कहते हैं? ये आपको आने वाले स्लाइड्स में समझ में आएगा. एज जो वर्ड है, स्किल एज का हर एक प्रोडक्ट एज वर्ड से खत्म होता है. That is our brand identity. That's why the word edge has been put. सबसे पहले आज के सेशन का एजेंडा. I'm going to talk about skill edge, about the company first for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to introduce Sir Shailendra Sir. I'm going to introduce myself and some of the key people in the organization and in the course. That's the second point. That will take another 5 to 7 minutes. Post that, Sir is going to talk about emerging careers in finance. Emerging means high in demand, low in supply, which means the average pay package of these careers in finance in India currently is more than regular placement that typically happens in a B school or in a BCom college or in an MCom college. So we're going to talk about that. That's a third part. The fourth part is about the course. How is this course different? How is this course is going to help every student who is graduating or who has graduated from a non-IIT or non-IIM college in India. And what is finally the fifth point would be, what is the output of this particular course? Where do you like, where would you lie post the course, right? It is not a short course of 15 days or 1 month. It's a commitment. What kind of commitment we would like from every student? Every month we run 2 batches. This is the second batch of this month. So welcome on board once again. And these are the 5 points that we are going to cover in today's session in 1.5 hours. Yes, whether you are a BCom graduate, whether you are an MCom graduate, MBA finance student, or a student pursuing MBA, MCom, this is all, or anybody who wants to enter the financial world, the emerging trend in the financial world is at the right place. That's what I would suggest. To begin with, let's start with Skill Edge. Skill Edge is an edtech. We are an edtech and we are India's first edtech company preparing every non-IIT and non-IIM student for a new age career in technology, engineering, and management. That's what we are. It's been approximately 27 months, and we have worked with more than 20,000 students. The numbers are growing every day, with more than 6,500 hours of program in 80 plus institutes. आपने एडटेक बहुत सारे सुने होंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोर्सेरा, यूडेमी, एडेक्स, एनपीटीएल, स्वयं. हम भी उसी जोन में आते हैं. फर्क ये है, हमारा डिलीवरी का मैकेनिज्म बहुत अलग है, और वो डिलीवरी का मैकेनिज्म सेकेंड पॉइंट पे लिखा गया है. क्या फर्क है? नंबर 1, जो भी कोर्स, जो भी स्टूडेंट जिस कोर्स में भी एनरोल होता है, सबसे पहले उस जॉब टाइटल के लिए जितने नॉलेज की जरूरत है उतना ही नॉलेज दिया जाता है, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड एज जॉब रोल फोकस्ड नॉलेज. क्योंकि नॉलेज पाने के लिए देयर इज यूट्यूब अवेलेबल एंड देयर आर मेनी अदर सोर्सेस, बट कितना पढ़ने के बाद आप एक इंटरव्यू को क्रैक कर पाओगे एंड आपको पहले दिन से आप उस कंपनी में आउटपुट दे पाओगे, ये अनफॉर्चुनेटली कोई नहीं बताता है. And that is where we start our first pillar, that everything that we talk in the class is absolutely job role focused. जिस job role के लिए apply किया जा रहा है, उस job role में जितना चाहिए interview crack करने के लिए और पहले दिन से output देने के लिए उतना ही. Then comes number 2. नॉलेज मिलने के बाद ये बहुत जरूरी है कि उस नॉलेज की प्रैक्टिस होनी चाहिए और वो कंटिन्यूअस प्रैक्टिस होनी चाहिए. एक दिन गूगल से कुछ डाउनलोड कर लिया और उसमें प्रैक्टिस किया, वैसे बात नहीं बनेगी क्योंकि ये एकेडमिक्स नहीं है. प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए कंटिन्यूअसली रियल टाइम इंडस्ट्री केस स्टडीज, केसलेट्स, क्विजेस, ट्यूटोरियल्स, इन चीजों पे प्रैक्टिस करना बहुत जरूरी है. And that is what students do in Skill Edge in every course. So that is the second pillar, that is practice. And comes the third pillar. Practice करने के बाद ये जरूरी है कि आप उस प्रैक्टिस को, आप जो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो वो सही डायरेक्शन में कर रहे हो कि नहीं, ये पता होना बहुत जरूरी है. और इसके लिए मेंटरिंग का बहुत जरूरी है. हमने बडी मेंटर इसलिए लिखा है बिकॉज हर कोर्स में हर स्टूडेंट को स्किल एज में 3 मेंटर्स मिलते हैं एज अ बडी, जो आपको कंटिन्यूअसली बताते हैं कि उस जॉब टाइटल में कैसे काम किया जाता है, एक्सरसाइजेस कैसे सॉल्व किए जाते हैं, इंटरव्यू कैसे क्रैक किया जाता है. सो यू कैन इमेजिन नॉलेज, प्रैक्टिस एंड मेंटरिंग, इन तीनों चीजों से जब एक स्टूडेंट गुजरता है, द स्टूडेंट इज रेडी टू क्रैक अ टियर 1 कंपनी इंटरव्यू and absolutely uska career is on a growth path. This is what Skill Edge is all about. This is how we work, this is how we operate, and I think that's the reason there is a tremendous amount of support and love and affection from the students. We have been awarded as a best startup award at IIT Kharagpur just before the lockdown last year in March 2020, and some more I would say awards in the ecosystem. It's always an honor and a proud moment to declare our board to all of you. These are 4 people. In all, we have 6 people in our board. I have mentioned 4 people over here. These are the people who are guiding us, who are mentoring us. Some of them, if you can see the names and their credentials, unke credentials agar aap dekhoge, this is like amazing to have such kind of people in the organization. As senior as Vineet sir, who is the founder of Ashoka University. As senior as Suresh Mahalingam sir, who is the director of Aviva and principal, as a Kellogg graduate. Then Devi Prasad, INSEAD graduate. INSEAD is the number 1 B school in the world today, and have worked with, Devi sir has worked with Shibu Lal and Nandan Nilekani when Infosys was incepted. So that's the kind of board we have as far as the company is concerned. This brings me to the course directors. This is the second point where I wanted to introduce. I told you initially, right? The second point would be where I would introduce Shailendra sir. Shailendra sir is a co-founder of Skill Edge. He's a CFO. He's a chartered accountant and have more than 30 plus years of experience across industries, I would say, within the finance vertical, from fintech to investment analyst to corporate banking to finance. He has worked in 3 geographies, and and not to mention, he's an IIM Bangalore gold medalist. He is the key director, or I would say key person, as far as this course is concerned. Sir, welcome once again, and thank you for, he's also a very well-known, renowned professor across India in many of the B schools. Sir, thank you so much for conceptualizing this course and being a, I would say, mentor in its real sense to all our students.
Thanks for the intro, Rohit. Thanks.
As far as I am concerned, some of you must be aware of me. I just want to say that it's been 17, 18 years interacting with students, with more than, I would say, currently 10 lakh students I have mentored and helped them achieve their dream jobs, dream schools, and so forth. Yes, I'm also humbled to have studied from one of the best B schools in the world after doing my BTech, MTech, and MBA, which is from INSEAD. This is our course directors. I would be also involved in the course in many different aspects of the financial world, which is required as a skill part. I also will be involved along with sir. These are some of our course mentors. Out of 10 to 12 mentors who will join us at different stages of the course, these are some of them who will be very integral to the course. One of them is Sudhanshu. You can see the kind of credentials he comes with. His Goldman Sachs experience. In fact, he is only India's only person who has taken voluntary retirement from Indian Armed Forces. He retired voluntary retirement as a major, and he's the only, I think, army personnel in the world to move from Indian Armed Forces or Armed Forces to corporate banking, and in that too Goldman Sachs, which is considered the best in the world. वो आएंगे आपको पढ़ाने के लिए on the equity side, on the market side, and so and so forth. Right? So these are the kinds. Then we have Ramanathan Subramani sir. He was also in Goldman Sachs. Currently, he is in JP Morgan. So you can imagine the kind of people who are with more than 30 years of experience. Again, an INSEAD alum. So these are the kind of people we will have in the course as a course mentors. I told you every student will get 3 mentors as we go along the course. So with this, I think I have covered 2 points. Number 1, about Skill Edge, what we are doing, how we are doing. And number 2, some of the key people who are involved in this course and within the company. Absolutely, isn't. Right, let's go ahead and let's pick up the first point. This is where Shailendra sir comes to the fore, and he expresses himself in terms of this point, which is emerging careers in finance. Before we start this, can I get a quick yes from everybody? अभी तक सब कुछ समझ में आया जो बोला है? The speed, the language जो मैं use कर रहा हूँ, Hindi and English mix, is it all okay with everybody? Can I get a quick yes on the chat box? And I want people to reply, all of you to reply. Please understand, ये mandatory है classes के दौरान भी, और ये mandatory होता है हमारे हर session में that everybody must reply. तो अभी मैंने शुरुआत में कहा था the experience will be very different. Can I get few more responses? Can I get some few more responses quickly? All right. Thank you for the response. Rohit, thank you for your kind words. Sir, the first question to you. There are many, obviously with this point only, there are many BCom, MCom, MBA Finance, and also one working professional with us. And this BFSI vertical, banking, financial services and insurance vertical, is always a very muddled space. Muddled matlab confused wala space है, जहाँ पे academically काफी information नहीं मिल पाता है कि नए trends क्या आ रहे हैं. Because academically उतना ही समझ में आता है, एक तो जितना syllabus में है, और दूसरा उसी तरह के companies आते हैं जिस तरह की companies का trend चल रहा है उस college में आने का. So it's very important. Let's talk about first of all कि emerging careers क्या है finance में, because emerging का मतलब होता है high in demand, low in supply. और वो low in supply इसलिए है because IIMs, number of IIMs in India is only 10% of the total number of colleges. In fact, less than that. So we have more non-IIMs in India with a lot of energy with every student. So it's very important to begin with this question that what are the emerging careers in finance, sir, that students should be ready for going forward? Sir, over to you.
Sure, great. So I think welcome everyone to the class. Thanks, Rohit, for the introduction and handling the session so far. So BFSI is one of the biggest employers as far as the graduates and postgraduates is concerned. It's more service-oriented industry. The estimate is it provides employment to over 30% of the graduates and postgraduates. This is a global sort of trend. And obviously there are other industries like travel, logistics, and hospitality and others as well, right? But this is where a lot of graduates, postgraduates go. So educated masses go and work in BFSI. The industry is also very different in the sense that it is highly technology driven industry. So that is where the education matters, your knowledge of technology also matters, and we'll talk about it. What is required, what kind of skills you need to succeed in BFSI. We have seen over last about 20 years that Indian BFSI industry has really carved a name for itself globally. So we have had these kind of global financial crisis in 2008, for example, where a lot of investment banks and insurance companies in US, they went bankrupt. But in India, it didn't happen like that, right? There have been few bankruptcies, like for example, one of the exchanges went bankrupt because there was some fraud there. But if you compare how BFSI in India has performed, it has performed exceptionally well as compared to most of the advanced economies as well, including Europe, UK, USA, and Japan, for example, right? So this is really very good sector for one to focus upon. So that's one thing I want to tell you. The second is, we are talking broadly about the careers in finance and not just BFSI. So when you're looking at career in finance, BFSI is obviously your number one sort of go-to thing, right? So for example, in Pune, when you think of breakfast outside, you think of vada pav or poha, right? That doesn't mean that these are the only two things available. So finance analyst and these roles that we are going to talk about are available in other industries also in plenty. So that is second thing you have to remember. And these kind of careers are very much in demand because as the companies grow in sizes, as there is more and more demand for people who understand numbers, understand data, are able to provide some kind of meaningful information to the organization and leaders to take their decision, these kind of roles will become very much in demand. When we look at these roles, we broadly categorize them into two categories. One is which are more, marketing and sales oriented, where the focus is on acquiring customers, right? So maybe anything like, selling through your website, selling through app, cold calling, calls receiving, those kind of functions where you are generating some kind of a demand, targeting some of the potential customers, going and selling and meeting and converting and so on and so forth. Well, that's one part of the job. So if you are a very sales oriented, you like that challenge of being a salesperson, there are quite a good number of careers available in BFSI. Then the other careers, I'll broadly classify them as operations careers from the finance perspective. So in BFSI also you have, for example, on other industries, other careers, like for example, HR is a good career option as well, right? But many of you being interested in finance will stick to the finance roles. So there's a lot of operational roles within banking, financial services, and insurance, and in other industries. For example, there's a finance and accounting roles required, right? So you have finance analyst roles, for example, across. So we have in retail, we have in we have that role particularly, let's say in real estate and so on and so forth. We have in hospitality and all these places. So Rohit, I hear that you are saying the voice is breaking. Are others able to hear me clearly? Please let me know. Rohit, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay. How
Let
about
me.
others? Can somebody else respond, please? All right. So I think, yeah. So Rohit, yeah. So maybe some temporary glitch at your end. Otherwise, yeah. Thank you. But do let me know if something like this happens. Yeah. So if you look at these kind of roles, now we found that there's a demand broadly in two areas, and we are looking specifically, in tier two business schools, in the commerce schools, etc. That is where we have fair deal of insight into. We obviously have insight into IIMs, etc. But that is not where what we are talking about. So I personally have taught in last 5 years in at least I would say about 10 business schools in Pune, including MIT, for example. So Ayushi Rohit, who's there in the class, no, she was my student at MIT WPU. So so I have taught in MIT, I have taught at IMDR, Imperial, IBMR, and number of business schools, including Symbiosis in Pune. So I see that this is where the students may mainly find the job opportunities. So roles like relationship management at Axis Bank, at HDFC, right, ICICI Wealth, and then there are some roles like credit analyst and finance analyst and research equity research analyst roles, those kind of roles. And both of these roles are having a very good demand in the market. So as you know, people keep saying all the time, yes, we do get resumes, but we don't get really good competent candidates, right? So if you prepare yourself well for these kind of roles, you will definitely shine. I'll say these roles are in demand for, so when I say roles are in demand, what am I saying? I am saying there's a little bit of demand and supply gap, right? The good candidates are not available in as much number as the industry would like to have. And this happened even during COVID. Even last year, good candidates did get the job, right? So maybe in one or two cases, you will hear some people have lost the job. Yes, that has also happened. But most of the good candidates did get the job even last year during COVID kind of a situation. And the situation will improve now. Second is the pay for these is reasonably higher as compared to the other roles, right? So these are not easy roles to perform. You need higher skills besides having knowledge. We'll talk about skill versus knowledge little bit after some time. So that is second thing. Third is the opportunity for career progression after joining the job are higher as compared to the other roles, right? So if you are, for example, once you're an analyst, you understand your organization so well, right? That your insights into organization, business, customers is much better than a lot of people who are in other kind of roles. So that gives you an opportunity to grow faster than others in the organization. So that is why we are saying that these are the roles in demand. Rohit, you want to add anything to this?
Sure. What I would like to say is a couple of things. Sir, in between, I got a message from Shudhanshu sir. He has not received the link. So if you can send the link to him.
I will do that.
Yeah. Resonating sir's point, I would like to highlight couple of things. अगर मैं आपकी जगह बैठा हूं और सर की बात सुन रहा हूं, तो मैं तीन चीजें सीखूंगा सर की बात से. सारी बातें जो सर ने बोली है. एक कि फाइनेंस इंडस्ट्री में जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत ज्यादा हैं because it's one of the highest employment generating sector in India. That's number one. That I will keep in mind. Which means मेरे को पता है कि मेरी जो डिग्री है, डिग्री से जॉब मिलेगी शायद नहीं, लेकिन डिग्री के साथ अगर मैं स्किल ऐड करूंगा तो नौकरी मिलेगी. अब वो किस तरह का स्किल है, क्या है, वो हम देखेंगे. लेकिन हैविंग सेड दैट, मैं पहला पॉइंट ध्यान रखूंगा is the fact that Rohit, I resonate with your thought. इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग हो या कुछ और चीजें हो जो अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं और सर ने भी बताया, जो ऑपरेशन साइड की चीजें हैं, इट इज डेफिनेटली गुड फॉर, और गुड और बैड नहीं होता है करियर के लिए. करियर इज अबाउट द चॉइस दैट यू मेक and how it is helping you to move ahead in your career. It's not good or bad, right? It's a very subjective thing. How do you decide? That's the whole point. और उसी को हम बात कर रहे हैं, उसी को सर ने बात की है. पहले हम डिसाइड करते हैं बेस्ड ऑन एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती हैं कि नहीं. द आंसर निकल के आ गया सर की बातों से, हाँ होती है. अब सर ने दूसरी बात, एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात बोली. आई डोंट नो कितने लोगों ने इस बात को पकड़ा. सर ने ये कहा कि फाइनेंस के जो जॉब रोल्स होते हैं, करियर जो होता है, उसमें दो वर्ड्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आज की तारीख में. इमर्जिंग, बात याद रखना, इमर्जिंग, और वो है टेक्नोलॉजी और डेटा. टेक्नोलॉजी का आना और डेटा के साथ काम करना, ये दोनों चीजें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. दीज आर वेरी वेरी टू इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली एसेंशियल इन टुडेज इमर्जिंग करियर इन फाइनेंस, जो सर ने अभी बताया. डेटा एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. So and these two aspects, unfortunately, academics में cover बिल्कुल नहीं करवाया जाता, और करवाया जाता है तो bookish knowledge के हिसाब से काफी हद तक करवाया जाता है because of its own limitations. सही गलत की बात नहीं है, because of its own limitations. तो सर की बात जो दूसरी थी वो ये थी कि डेटा एंड टेक्नोलॉजी पे स्किल का आना बहुत जरूरी है. और तीसरी बात सर की जो थी, जो अगर मैं स्टूडेंट हूं और मैं ये समझूं, वो ये है ऑपरेशन साइड के जो रोल्स हैं, वेदर इट इज फाइनेंस एंड अकाउंटिंग, बिजनेस एनालिस्ट, फाइनेंस एनालिस्ट, क्रेडिट एनालिस्ट, रिसर्च एनालिस्ट, these are like a family of jobs जिनमें एक सर्टेन स्किल का होना बहुत जरूरी है, और जिसके लिए ये वाला जो कोर्स है फुल स्टैक फाइनेंस, ये बनाया गया है. So it's like, and as we go along you will understand this, sir will also explain to you this, that फंडामेंटली एनालिस्ट लेवल पे ऑपरेशन फाइनेंस में जो ऑपरेशन का पार्ट होता है, दैट्स काइंड ऑफ एनालिस्ट व्हेन यू एंटर द जॉब रोल, बिकॉज यू आर अ फ्रेशर. सो एनालिस्ट में क्या क्या काम होता है, उसके लिए क्या क्या स्किल चाहिए, इज व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू लर्न गोइंग फॉरवर्ड, एंड दिस इज इन डिमांड. So I think, sir, this is how I will sum up what you said, and we go ahead from here.
Great, thanks a lot, Rohit. I see that Sudhanshu has joined.
Yeah.
So welcome, Sudhanshu. Thanks for joining the webinar today. So let's proceed with this. So what we did is, so we keep talking to industry all the time. I'm in this industry for over 25 years now, but still, what we do is we look at what others are saying, right? So we did validate our understanding. We looked at a couple of leading job portals like Monster, for example, and Naukri and others, and we sort of sorted out which are the highest paying jobs in finance in India, right? So that's what we looked at. So these 15 jobs which are listed on the left hand side, they came up very frequently, right? So these are the highest paying jobs in finance, which broadly also indicates there is a demand supply gap and there is a good growth option available for that career. And then we looked at, out of these, which are the ones that are, more relevant for MBA or BCom freshers, right? So BCom, MCom, BBA, MBA, and PGDM, right? That's the kind of qualification we're looking at. So people, students like you. So then we found out that, these are the ones which are more relevant. Why? There are one or two reasons, for example, chief financial officer, वगैरह. These kind of jobs are a little bit senior jobs. So maybe after 2 years, 5 years, you can aspire for that. We took those out for the time being. And also we looked at, in one or two jobs, we found that there is a clear preference for, lawyers, company secretaries, and chartered accountants, CFAs. For example, compliance officer, right? I'm not saying that the MBAs cannot do that work. They can do that. But initially, there is a preference for people who come with those kind of skills. So we sort of kept those aside and we looked at those jobs which are very good to target for people from students from your background, right? Mostly freshers or with maybe a year's experience also. That's what we are targeting. So finance analyst, for example, financial advisor who advises on investment matters, but this is not purely a sales job. This requires a lot of understanding of the financial products. Loan officer, credit officer, for example, private equity associate, right? Personal financial advisor. So these are the kind of jobs which are very relevant in the this space and which are very much in demand. So we looked at these jobs and then I think we can go to the next one, Rohit. And then we looked at, what is common across these jobs, right? So we tried to find what we normally call, LCM, right? The common factor among all these. And then we saw that these are actually a family of job. Lot of things required for performing these jobs. The skills have very much in common, right? So a lot of things that you need to do on the job, the skills that you need to build, they are common. So we look at it as a family of jobs. And here just we have given by example, these kind of openings are available plenty. You can go to the portals, after this today's today's session and validate whether what we are talking is correct or not. We have seen people getting, employed in these kind of jobs without significant working experience. And there are companies which are very much open now to the graduates and postgraduates from tier 2 business schools, right? They are not only looking at IIMs. Number of reasons, because those people aspire for various different kind of careers as well. There is always a competition and the talent is available everywhere. What is required is the talent, the skill that is valued more than purely some kind of academic qualification. And we'll talk more about that. We looked at, if they are sort of high salary paying jobs, what kind of salaries are available for the freshers. Now this is an average salary about 6 lakh something for business analyst. So we said let's dig deeper, right? So we went further. Maybe next slide, Rohit. And then we sort of, now if you look at this, we are saying less than 1 year salary. This is a LinkedIn data that I took about 2 weeks back, which is a very reliable data because it's a professional network and anonymously people submit their salaries. So equity research analyst salaries, we saw about close to 5 lakh rupees salaries, and this is less than 1 year of experience, right? So that's what we saw. On the right hand side, you can see which are the related jobs. Now this is something that I am not doing, right? If you see other titles, investment banking analyst, equity analyst, valuation associate, investment associate, right? Now this is all LinkedIn's algorithm working in the background. LinkedIn is also looking at various jobs, titles, experience that people are putting there, and so this also tells us that this is a family of jobs which is very closely related. They will not show you here something like, for example, retail sales associate. No, that's not appearing over here because LinkedIn is also with so much data available to them. looking at it and saying, okay, which are the related jobs that I should show to this particular person. Then we have investment analyst salaries, slightly higher at 5,50,000, including the variable pay. Next, we have investment banking analyst salaries. One of the reasons investment banking pays slightly higher is because investment banking roles are always sales plus delivery kind of roles, right? These are sales oriented roles, but they also need a lot of operations understanding and a lot of knowledge of the products. So that's why investment bankers get paid fantastically. We know that, right? We see movies basically being made on that. So that this is one of the very high paying kind of a career, 8 lakhs plus kind of compensation. And remember, all this is less than 1 year, right? So these are as good as freshers. Some of them might have up to 1 year experience. Many of them are freshers. Then the next one, we can look at maybe corporate finance, corporate finance. Now these job titles are a little bit different, but they require the same kind of capabilities, around 11 lakhs or so. Corporate finance is appearing slightly higher. I'll tell you the reason being, many times a lot of these guys will be chartered accountants who are also there. They get slightly higher salaries than most of the tier 2 MBAs, and that we have to accept as a matter of fact, because they have actually about 3 years of working experience, articleship experience. So that little bit gets valued in that. Maybe we can look at, I think, yeah, Rohit, if we can go next. Rohit, if you can go next. Yeah, market analyst, right? So again, these kind of the different job profiles, but this is not a marketing analyst. He's not a person from market background. He's analyzing the market. So these are people from the finance background. That's why you are seeing on the right hand side, all those kind of profiles which are basically the related ones. Maybe next one also we can go. Yeah, so we looked at various these kind of profiles. So not just not just sort of Naukri and these places. We also look at other networks like LinkedIn. And in addition, now all these we are showing to you. In addition, we talk to number of hirers. Number of hirers we talk to every week. We talk to number of business schools. We know how the placements are getting done there. Every week, me and Rohit speak to a few hundred people, few hundred students from business schools and commerce schools at the bare minimum, few hundred, right? We talk to their TPOs. So we know that this is the kind of a market which is there. And that's where we started thinking, can we do something to fill up this gap? Because many of my own students, and I remember Rohit and me talking about it almost a year back, I was telling him that, Rohit, I see this very frequently from my students. They get a job like, for example, a relationship manager at Axis Bank or HDFC, right? 4.5 lakhs pay they get, 3.5, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs. But many of them are not happy because they don't look at it as a long-term career option for themselves, because many of them are not, real interested in growing their career on the sales side. Okay. Again, personally, if you ask me, sales in sales is also a great career option. So I'm not saying it's not a good career option. It's a very good career option. But if you don't have that personality, right? If you don't thrive on closing deals, chasing people, if you're not that inclined to accept no from people, then you may not want to go for that kind of a career, correct? Every job requires sales. So I'm not saying that the other jobs don't require sales orientation at all, but as sales jobs are slightly different. So we said, okay, fine. So what can we do for those students who really are not aspiring for those jobs, but want to look at really hardcore operations kind of jobs in finance, right? So that's where we started looking at and researching, and that's where we are today. So what we have done is we have identified the job titles that are in demand, and then the next step was to look at what are the qualifications of the candidates the companies are recruiting. So that's why we said BCom, MCom, BBA, MBA, and PGDMs, right? And mostly they prefer people who have done finance specialization or taken finance subjects. That's their preference number one. And then we looked at what are the skills in demand, what are the skills that are being required, because these are all see what at Skillage what we do is we don't generically offer courses, right? So we have courses in, for example, analytics, which are offered to the engineering graduates from computer science and other background, right? So now this is a finance course, for example. So we don't generically offer courses. We look at specific set of job titles that are in demand, and then we create course for filling up the gap between the graduates and postgraduates and what the job expects, right? So that's what we did here also. So it's a specific family of jobs. As we told, a couple of those job titles, maybe 7-8 job titles, and then we looked at what are the skills that are required to get a high paying role in those job titles. So that's what we looked at. So one of the key things is, of course, communication. You have to be able to communicate very crisp and clear kind of messages.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
for
Rohit, you want to? Yeah,
I
yeah,
just want to add one line
yeah.
for students to. अब जो सर बात करने वाले हैं ना, ये जो सर ने ये जो बुलेट पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे लिखे गए हैं, ये किसी एक रोल के लिए नहीं है. ये जो पिछले जितने भी सर ने लिंक्डइन में रोल्स दिखाए हैं, इन सारे जॉब रोल्स में, और रोहित आपने पिंग किया था कि यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन इक्विटी रिसर्च, उन सारे रोल्स में, और इक्विटी रिसर्च भी आपने देखा, इन्वेस्टमेंट एनालिस्ट, इक्विटी एनालिस्ट, क्रेडिट एनालिस्ट, रिसर्च एनालिस्ट, मार्केट एनालिस्ट, उन सारे जॉब रोल्स में, जॉब रोल्स की जगह मैं बोलूंगा जॉब टाइटल्स में, इन सारे बुलेट पॉइंट्स की जरूरत है. सो ये ऐसा नहीं है कि एक जॉब टाइटल में एक स्किल चाहिए. हमने क्या बोला, फैमिली ऑफ जॉब्स. उस ऑपरेशन वर्टिकल में, फाइनेंस में, ऑपरेशन वर्टिकल में डेटा एंड टेक्नोलॉजी जो हमने कहा, उसको दिमाग में रखते हुए इन सारे स्किल्स की जरूरत है जो सर अभी आप बताने वाले हैं. सो अंडरस्टैंड, हाई पेइंग क्यों? क्योंकि आपके पास सिर्फ डिग्री नहीं है, आपके पास एक ऐसी स्किल है, इतने सारे स्किल्स आपके पास हैं, तभी वो हाई पेइंग होता है. कंपनी हैज टू आल्सो सी ना कि मैंने 15, 20, 50 इंटरव्यू लिए हैं, पर इन 10 बच्चों में, इन 5 बच्चों में ये सारी चीजें हैं. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम ओके टू पे हाई सैलरी. Now, many of these things are done in a tier 1 college like IIMs में किया जाता है because वैसा माहौल है. But that doesn't mean कि अगर किसी और में वो स्पार्क है, जैसे आप सब में वो स्पार्क है, अगर उनको वैसा ही माहौल दे दिया जाए तो आप भी वो इंटरव्यूज क्रैक कर सकते हो. That's the point. Sir, over to you. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure that students understand that all these skills are important.
That is good that you said that. Yeah. And second thing, at this juncture, I just wanted to make a point for all of you. There's a difference between knowledge and skills, right? So while having a knowledge is very, very important, people don't pay you for knowledge. I may know how to prepare idli, for example, because I have mugged it up. I have seen the recipe, right, from one of the best cooks. But if I'm not able to prepare that idli, nobody is going to come to my restaurant, right? Very simple example. So you get paid for skills, you don't get paid for your knowledge. And knowledge is important because you can't acquire skill without knowledge. So I'm not saying knowledge is not important. The professors that you like best in your colleges, the teachers, they had very good teaching skills besides having the knowledge. Correct? That is what differentiates between them. So what we are talking of here is skills, the ability to actually do something, right? Actually deliver something. Correct? Communication is required for doing that. If we are not able to communicate effectively and across various media, now today, for example, we are communicating virtually through Zoom, right? So this is one of the communication and collaboration tools. Can you do that? Can you communicate in person? Can you stand in front of 20 people and address them? Can you communicate in a meeting? Do you know how to organize that? Right? Do you know how to write emails? Do you know how to present using PowerPoint slides? So all those things are very, very important, and you need to practice for that. Without practice, and I think 3 pillars that Rohit mentioned earlier, one of them is the practice, right? So for us, without practice, you will not be able to acquire any skill, right? Cycling is a skill. You can see 1,000 people cycling. Swimming is a skill, but unless you jump into the water, unless you are on a bicycle and you fall down few times, you will not be able to acquire skill. So our emphasis is on skill, and we'll make you communicate, we'll make you present during the class, right? We'll ask you to write emails, right? So that's all will get done from you. Presentation, obviously, and presentation doesn't mean only PowerPoint slides. How you articulate, how you say, how much time you take, all those things are very important. Productivity is important. You should be able to achieve more in less time, right? And there are productivity tools. Will introduce you to 1 or 2 of those tools, and obviously once you understand them, you can master other tools as well. Collaboration tools, and I think Zoom is just one of them, but now we have many collaboration tools. For example, Slack is one of the team collaboration tools, right? We'll introduce you to some of them, and we'll tell you, how to collaborate within teams. So we for example, take with you sessions around interpersonal management, conflict management, negotiation, right, which help you collaborate with various stakeholders, whether outside or within the organization. Understanding process is very important, so we take you through the basics of some IT processes, basics. We are not, because you are not going into entirely ITIL framework, etc., which is altogether a different thing. But basic documentation of requirements, creating basic test cases, etc., we take you through that. Because if you join a very large bank, for example, Sudhanshu is in Goldman Sachs, Barclays, if you join there, basic documentation skills are very important, because they're a very large organization, so they put a lot of emphasis on compliance and documentation. So at least the basics have to be very, very clear. That organization will then maybe obviously spend some time in telling you their specific set of templates and documents. But you need to be very clear, what are requirements, test cases, how they read, this kind of process or other frameworks you need to be very much aware about. We mentioned about data analytics. So we introduce you to tools like Python, for example, Python for finance, right? So Python is one of the leading tools which person from non-engineering background can easily master, right? When I'm saying easily, you have to put in the effort. So don't get me wrong, but you can master it. You don't need to be from the engineering background with computer science or IT or something like that, correct? So we cover that for you. We help take you through the Excel, basic, intermediate levels, to see that you are able to do your Excel modeling. So all that is required for doing data analytics. Research, how to do research, for example, right? So for our batch which is continuing, already this week I have given them assignment, and they are now researching the hospitality industry, specifically 4-star segment, right? So already we are taking them through how do you do the research, correct? Do secondary research, do primary research, and then how to write research reports. All those things are covered here. Financial modeling using Excel, for example, very important. If you want to get into private equity investment, all those jobs, they require you to have a very good grasp on financial modeling, business valuation. And then 4 core areas of finance: accounting, corporate finance, banking, and capital markets. We cover in this. We have another module for insurance, but we don't cover it as a part of this particular course, right? So accounting, for example, you need to understand basics of accounting well. We need to understand balance sheet, P&L, how the business is impacted, and how to read balance sheets, ratio analysis. You need to understand that well. In corporate finance, you understand basic concepts very, very thoroughly, right? Time value of money, for example, right? You should be able to understand that. And obviously you need to have good knowledge of banking and capital markets, because if you are a finance analyst, you need to understand, for example, the entire trade life cycle, right? The difference between equities, fixed income, how the prices move in the market, right? Those kind of things. What is IPO? What is follow-on offerings? So those kind of things we cover, and what is the entire journey in a typical organization, the seed investing, angel investing, private equity, venture capital, IPO. So we take you through all that, so that you understand this world of finance very, very well. So that is how this course we have designed in a comprehensive way to cover at least 80 to 90% of what people expect for you when you go as an investment analyst or as a research analyst. And just to address, I think Rohit had mentioned that he's looking for a job as a equity analyst. So we cover writing of, for example, information memorandums, right? We cover writing of the equity research report. We cover this financial modeling and valuation, right? So that prepares one for a job of a equity analyst. I'm just giving an example because he mentioned over there.
Makes sense. I think thank you for elaborating these points. This is, as a student, when I'm hearing, I do understand that one, you stressed on the fact of fundamentals. Second, technology and data. Third, all these softer aspects also: communication, presentation, collaboration, process knowledge, productivity tools. And the fourth is this, that all these skills are required for the family of jobs, which includes equity analyst, financial analyst, credit analyst, research analyst, and investment analyst. And I think with this note, let us bring Sudhanshu. I think it's once again a great honor and absolutely pleasure for me. I have introduced Sudhanshu before, but let me quickly once again introduce Sudhanshu to all of you. Sudhanshu, very good evening. I'm sure everyone is excited to hear you. Sudhanshu, there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Fine. So let me just quickly introduce once again to all of you. Sudhanshu, I think, is the only armed force personnel in the world who has moved from being from the armed force to in the corporate world, and that too in the, I would say, the epitome of a company in the investment banking side, which is Goldman Sachs, and studied so much from doing so many, I would say, courses and industry acclaimed certifications. He has gone up the ladder in his corporate career, and he has been so kind to us in terms of being an integral part of this course, where he's going to be the I would say the subject matter expert as far as the equity research analyst, the investment analyst part of the job titles are concerned. Sudhanshu, once again, thank you so much for joining in. It's an absolute pleasure, and really, it's an overwhelming feeling for, as a team of Skill Edge and students who have joined, to have you. And my first question to you on this platform is, in fact, I will just ask 2-3 questions in one go, and then you can explain, because these are interrelated questions. One is, you are on the other side of the table. You are, in Goldman Sachs. You deal with finance every day, every moment of your life. When you go back maybe 10 years, 12 years behind, for a fresher, these emerging careers, now we know the analyst careers. What are the fundamental points that a student must prepare? When you are not from IIMs, you're not from a IIT, you don't have a degree of pedigree, but still there is an opportunity. So what is the mindset required as a student during preparation? That's number one. Number two, once you enter the company, what is the thing that companies looks at you today, which the companies may not have looked a few years back, but today they definitely look into your mindset or that kind of thought process which helps you to move ahead in your career. Over to you, Sudhanshu. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks a lot. Thank you for the kind words. So, as you asked that, going to your questions first, so I would say that, if I look back at my journey, I would just say that when I decided to move from a very different background, I was a military officer, and I decided to move, and I didn't have any knowledge of finance or economics, nothing. I was totally a computer science grad. So I decided to move to finance, and first of all, I would say that it is about having belief in yourself that you can achieve what you are aiming for. So I think that is the first and foremost point. I think what separates good students and students who achieve a lot in life and is that having belief in yourself that if that person can do it, I can also do it. So first is the belief, and secondly, I would say the hustling attitude, which I always stress upon, is that ability to make an effort regularly, consistently, and making 100% effort. So I would say that. So it doesn't matter, because I have seen a lot of people now in my company also from different colleges, and it's not that only IITians come to Goldman Sachs or IIM guy come. There are people from different places and different colleges. I know that somebody from Goa University made to MD last year, which is very unheard of. So it is not. After some time, it is all that skills matter. It is about your knowledge, your skills. Once you might have a degree from a very good place, but if you go to interview, if you're not able to explain the concept, if you're not able to talk properly, if you're not able to convince the interviewer, you will go nowhere. So it is equally difficult for a IIM guy or IITian guy as to other college graduates. It is just that I would say that being in a good college or from a pedigree, you get little better resources to prepare yourself up, which are not available in other places. But if a student is a hustler, he has decided that he wants to really get into something, then nothing can stop it. And it's a long journey. It's a long journey of continuously learning. The skills are continuously evolving. Even people in my industry who are vice presidents and in my position, and they are all continuously learning. It is not that they have stopped learning and they have reached a position. It is not like that. Everybody is devoting time on weekends to study. It is the world is like that only, and anybody who thinks that he can, once he reaches in Goldman Sachs or anywhere and bas life ban gayi ya padna nahi hai, to aisa to kabhi hoga hi nahi, because life, the skills are constantly evolving. I am also constantly learning. I recently learned Python few months back. Then I learned a software, Alteryx. So it is all about learning nowadays. So if I have to suggest something to students, I would say that the most important factor for success today is how you approach your life and how you approach your training, and how it doesn't matter. You might have not gone to that IIT. Even I have not gone to IIT. I haven't gone to IIM also, right? So it is just that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is your skill set, and what kind of knowledge you have, how much you can apply, and for that one needs to really prepare hard and be a constant hustler. Learn as much as possible. I think you guys have already taken the right step by joining a course where you will be guided by specific mentors and specific people, because that is very necessary. And another point I would like to add is that the biggest problem I face, which I always tell people, is that today's age, people call it as an information age, but I also call it as a misinformation age. There is so much data on internet that you don't know what to study and what not to study. So if somebody, especially from insider from the industry, a person from who has been in that role, can exactly tell you what to study, what not to study, where to focus, you will definitely benefit, because you cannot master everything. There is so much to master that if you try to do that, you will never ever get time for that. So it's very important to have mentors. And for a example, I would say that I even have mentors till today. I have mentors who are guiding me what to do next, what should I study, what should I prepare more. I am learning quantitative finance now. I'm trying to learn C++ now. It's like, it's a constant environment where you have to learn, and somebody to handhold and guide you to the right direction, because there's a lot of misinformation. So I think you guys have taken the right step by joining a course which is guided by Shailendra sir, who is preparing the course curriculum, and he has a vast experience and knowledge, and he has seen the industry from within. So that's my point, is that keep hustling. And coming to the second question, when you tell about what about when you enter the company, I would say that when you enter the company, people want you to be fully prepared. Now I'll tell you my example. Like when I joined, my case was very extreme. I retired from military on Friday evening, and Monday morning I was in Goldman Sachs office. So it was like Kashmir. I started, I was in Jammu and Kashmir on Friday evening, and Monday morning I was in Bangalore office in Goldman Sachs. And Monday we had the orientation session, and Tuesday morning I was given some tasks to do. So nobody cares that where you are coming from. So if you are expecting in an elite company that people will, have that chit chat, and if people will have that, kind of very, the culture is good. I'm not saying that people are bad, but I'm saying that the environment is very competitive. People want you to be well prepared. And Monday evening only I was given a task that this is your task, and we expect this thing to be done by this time. So it is that kind of preparation people want from you, and that is the culture in good investment banking firms, and that is why they pay you so well. I think that is the reason they provide you such good opportunities, and for career and promotion and salary wise and everything, because they want you to be fully prepared from day one. Nobody has got time. Your manager will not have time to teach you. If you are thinking that you will go to company and manager will come and teach you, no, he is himself busy in his own task. He might spend 15 minutes or half an hour maximum. I'm telling you, half an hour is a big amount time is considered in corporate world. 30 minutes, if some senior can give you, that is considered to be a bonus that somebody has spoken to you for 30 minutes and guided you. So it is very important when you are aspiring for roles, you are well prepared, and that is why companies also, when they recruit, they want people who are well prepared. It's not that they will not like to hire anybody who's not well prepared. They are not going to teach you. They are not into that thing, because the work environment is very, very fast. So the better you are prepared, more you will excel and more you will succeed. So it's very important that when you go for interviews, when you go for any company, for anything job process, you have to be very well prepared. So that is my advice, and I think that's suffice everything which I wanted to cover. And I would say that keep hustling. That is the only point. Keep working hard. So that's it. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you, Sudhanshu, once again for your it comes from the heart. वो समझ में आता है क्योंकि किसी ने you been there, done that, and you're doing it every day. मैं अगर स्टूडेंट्स के साथ तरफ मतलब उधर से सुन रहा हूँ, एज अ स्टूडेंट मैं सुन रहा हूँ, तो मेरे लिए 3 टेक अवे हैं, जस्ट टू समराइज व्हाट यू सेड टू ऑल द पीपल. नंबर 1, बी ए हसलर. हसलर का मतलब है इट्स लाइक बी ऑन द रोड, बी अजाइल. ये पढ़ना है, वो पढ़ना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, उसको हसलर बोलते हैं. इसको हम बोलते हैं स्ट्रीट स्मार्ट, थोड़े से आसान भाषा में. सो दैट्स वन इनपुट दैट सुधांशु has shared. रोहित, आपको सारे डिटेल्स मिल जाएंगे. आप सबसे पहले रोहित, आपने जो पूछा है ना, ये जो स्लाइड के नीचे स्किल एज का जो सोशल मीडिया हैंडल है ना, इसको आप लोग फॉलो करिए. उसके बाद जैसे ही आप कोर्स का हिस्सा बनते हो रोहित, तो सुधांशु सर, शैलेंद्र सर, बाकी सारे लोग ये मेंटर्स हैं, और इसीलिए सर ने ये बोला कि इंडस्ट्री में वक्त नहीं मिलेगा. सेकंड पॉइंट मेरा वही था, इंडस्ट्री में वक्त नहीं मिलेगा किसी सीनियर से बात करने का. ये वक्त यहाँ मिल रहा है कि आपको मेंटर्स ऐसे जुड़ के मिल रहे हैं जो आधे घंटे नहीं, आपके पास कोई डिफाइंड लिमिट नहीं है जितना आप सवाल कर सकते हो. बट द पॉइंट इज टू आस्क क्वेश्चन, यू नीड टू बी हसलर, बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस तभी पूछोगे जब आप पढ़ाई करोगे. एज सिंपल एज दैट, राइट? So दूसरा पॉइंट जो था रोहित, आई थिंक आई हैव आंसर्ड योर क्वेरी. प्लीज फॉलो स्किल एज ऑन सोशल मीडिया ऑन ऑल द 3 प्लेटफॉर्म्स एंड यू विल डेफिनेटली बी, आपको सारे कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स पता चल जाएंगे और मिल जाएंगे. कमिंग बैक टू सर्स पॉइंट, दूसरा पॉइंट जो सर ने कहा वो यही है कि दिस इज थ्रू दिस मेंटरिंग बिकम्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू नीड टू हैव द राइट मेंटर एट द राइट टाइम. जैसे आज भी सर के मेंटर्स हैं. मैंने शुरुआत में कहा हमें कंपनीज के लिए, फॉर अस एज अ स्किल एज अ कंपनी, वी हैव आवर मेंटर्स, राइट? So it's very important to have the right kind of mentoring, which is at your level, at the student level. It is very important when you are looking for such kind of career. And the third point which Sudhanshu sir mentioned is the fact that सिर्फ इंटरव्यू क्रैक करना जरूरी नहीं है. इंटरव्यू क्रैक करने के साथ साथ आप डे 1 से आउटपुट दो, वो भी जरूरी है. which automatically means this, that preparation needs to be in such a manner कि मेरे को इंटरव्यू भी क्रैक करना है, और मुझे ऑब्वियसली अगर मैं क्रैक करूंगा एक एलीट कंपनी में, तो कंपनी ने तभी मुझे क्रैक करवाया इंटरव्यू, क्योंकि उसे पता है कि अगले दिन से 1 या 2 दिन के अंदर दिस पर्सन विल स्टार्ट डिलीवरिंग आउटपुट. दैट्स द एटीट्यूड, दैट्स द थॉट प्रोसेस, एंड आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट Sudhanshu sir mentioned to all of us. Thank you, Sudhanshu. Thank you for your time once again, and we look forward in your subsequent classes when you eventually start with equity, investment, and all those kind of interesting topics. Right? Thank you so much, Sudhanshu, for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Sudhanshu.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to sort of Rohit, just for the students here, so that's why I said this is the second week in that particular batch, and I already given them this week's assignment. Right now they have to prepare a balance sheet and P&L of a 120 room 4-star hotel in Pune, and I told them this has 4 restaurants. Now go and find out the information. Correct? Go and visit the websites and do it, and next time I'm going to question you. I've given them some guidelines, of course, and we already did one exercise in class, which is virtual currently, right? So, and they will go and they will work this week, maybe a few hours, and then so right from the first or second session, maybe not after the first, second session, we ask you to do something on your own. You have to be able to do things, deliver results, correct? And we get it done from you in 4 months, right? So that's how we are structured. Sorry, Rohit, just to make the point.
No, absolutely. It's very important. I think, sir, आप ये बता रहे हो और ये सब्सटैंशिएट कर रहे हो कि जो स्किल वाली बात है वो पहले दिन से शुरू हो जाता है इस कोर्स में. ऑलरेडी हम लोग स्किल पे ही स्ट्रेस कर रहे हैं. अभी पूरे अगर आप देखो 3:45 से 4:45 हुआ है, 1 घंटे का सेशन हुआ है सर, एंड वी हैव बीन हार्पिंग ऑन couple of pointers which is data, technology, skill, attitude, hustling, mentoring. यही कुछ keywords हैं. अगर कोई ये सीख ले, forget about the degree from where you have. You can still be a part of a top tier company for those roles जिसके बारे में हमने mention किया है. This brings us to the last segment of our the fifth point, I think, which is the details about the course for the next 15 to 20 minutes before we get into your questions if you have any. Can I get a quick yes, सब लोगों से कि is it all clear till now? Can I get a quick yes from everybody? Is it all helpful? मजा आ रहा है सुनने में? क्या आप लोगों को चीजें नई सीखने को मिल रही है? Can I get a quick yes, no? You can also say no. That's also perfectly fine. Can I get a yes, no, maybe from your answer, from your understanding? Guys, if you can be quick in your reply, that would be really helpful. So Prathamesh, Ayushi, Priyanka, thank you for your reply. Can I get some few more replies? All right. Priya, I hope it was nahi. It is very helpful. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's talk about the course now, right? अब आपको ये बात तो समझ में आ गई कि इसको full stack क्यों बोलते हैं? Full stack क्यों बोलते हैं? Because that covers the entire family of jobs. So it's one course, and you're getting prepared for 5 job titles: credit analyst, research analyst, equity analyst, investment analyst, and market analyst, right? So you are, or investment analyst. So you're getting prepared for these 5 job titles from one course. That's why it's called as full stack. जितने भी आपके operations के role हैं. Let me talk about the course highlighters. So these are the 5 job titles. जैसे मैंने कहा था, finance analyst, investment analyst, which is / equity analyst, credit analyst, research and business analyst. और लास्ट 6 महीने में मैंने कुछ कंपनीज के नाम लिए हैं, और भी बहुत कंपनीज हैं जिन्होंने इन जॉब टाइटल से, वो जो सर ने शुरुआत में लिंक्डइन से जो सैलरी रेंज दिखाया, उस रेंज में स्टूडेंट्स को, फ्रेशर्स को हायर किया हुआ है. So let me quickly give you some perspective about the course at a high level. So who can attend? Bottom में है. I am sure you can understand by now. मैंने पहला पॉइंट बोल दिया है. So I have told you the first point, right? Yes, Rohit, CRISIL and ISRA are rating companies for the credit analyst role. Yeah. So one course and 5 job titles. ठीक है. दूसरा वाला पॉइंट मैं थोड़ा सा आगे एक्सप्लेन करने वाला हूं. There is no investment required from your side. ये कैसा है, कैसे होने वाला है, ये आगे बताऊंगा मैं. थर्ड बुलेट पॉइंट मैंने बोल दिया आपको, इंडस्ट्री मेंटरिंग. बाय नाउ आई थिंक यू रियलाइज यू गेट एक्सेस टू वर्ल्ड क्लास फाइनेंस एक्सपर्ट्स जो कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते कॉलेज में, राइट? एंड योर हेल्प विथ यू टिल द टाइम यू क्रैक एन इंटरव्यू ऑफ दैट लेवल, राइट? कौन सा लेवल, आगे हम बात करेंगे. हैंड्स ऑन प्रैक्टिस बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये बार बार सर ने भी बोला हुआ है. इट्स ऑल अबाउट प्रैक्टिस. नॉलेज कन्वर्ट टू प्रैक्टिस, देन ओनली यू बिकम स्किल. लोकल लैंग्वेज, जैसे मैं और आप बात कर रहे हैं, उस लैंग्वेज में बात होगी. रोल स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट मतलब, रोल मतलब वो जॉब टाइटल, उन जो 5 जॉब टाइटल में जो स्किल चाहिए वो सिखाया जाएगा. और एनालिसिस करना आना चाहिए, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू एंटर एज एन एनालिस्ट. तो एनालिसिस मतलब रिसर्च हो गया, एनालिसिस मतलब सेकेंडरी, प्राइमरी, मॉडलिंग, डेटा एनालिसिस, टेक्नोलॉजी यूसेज, सब कुछ वो एनालिसिस में आता है. तो उसकी कैपेबिलिटीज कैसे बढ़ाया जाए, that is exactly what you're going to learn and practice. So this course is approximately 200 plus hours of learning. It's a big number, 200 plus hours covered in 4 months, right? So that's the time duration. More than 50 plus modules, 60 plus sessions, case studies around 40 plus case studies, and yes, more than 200 plus interview questions that you will be prepared for. 4 महीने का कोर्स है. पहला महीना वीकेंड में क्लासेस होंगी. फर्स्ट मंथ वीकेंड में क्लासेस 2.5 hours to 3 hours सैटरडे एंड संडे. सो दोनों दिन मिलाकर 5 से 6 घंटे की क्लासेस पहले मंथ में, which comes to approximately 25 hours to 30 hours. उसके बाद then the weekday classes also start, but weekday में आपके कॉलेज आवर्स या नौकरी के beyond, not within the college hours, not within the work time. उस हिसाब से स्केड्यूल बनाया जाता है और आपसे शेयर किया जाएगा. एवरीथिंग विल बी लाइव ऑनलाइन क्लास, विच इज लाइक जैसे मैं और आप बात कर रहे हैं, इट्स अ लाइव ऑनलाइन, इसलिए इसका इम्पैक्ट इतना ज्यादा है. लैंग्वेज आपको समझ में आ रहा है, इट विल बी मेक सो इजी, एंड दैट्स आल्सो वन ऑफ द यूएसपी. दैट्स आल्सो वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स कि लैंग्वेज वर्ल्ड क्लास तो है, लैंग्वेज टॉप नॉच इंडस्ट्री के लोग बात कर रहे हैं, पर ऐसी भाषा में जो चीजों को आसान बना रहा है, एंड दैट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ऑलराइट, यस, द सिलेबस इज इंडस्ट्री अप्रूव्ड, so there are already companies who are coming on board for this course, and they are agreeing कि at least जब student इस course से graduate करेगा, then we will be taking an interview at least, and depending on the performance of the student in that interview, then the final offer will be made as always, right? So that's about the course details at a higher level. 4 महीने का कोर्स है, लेकिन आपको एक्सेस 9 महीने का मिलेगा. ऑब्वियसली बात है, चौथे महीने के बाद योर इंटरव्यू, योर you are made to stand in front of the companies you are applying, so you need revision, you need access to the videos and all those kind of things, right? That's why the access has been given. You want to revise the classes, कोई एक टॉपिक है जो आपको दोबारा रिवाइज करना है फॉर ए पर्टिकुलर जॉब टाइटल, जब आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो, you are all allowed to do for 9 months. Sir, if you want to highlight a bit more on this course delivery, ये एक high level course delivery है for 4 months. Sir?
Yes. So thanks, Rohit. So the course is delivered over 4 months, and then this is the high level plan for delivering that course. And one thing you should note is we are flexible. So if we feel, for example, that we need to spend more time somewhere, we'll spend more time. If we need to spend less time, you already know that we'll spend less time. So we are flexible in that. First, we cover core F&A. Your basics have to be right? At least basic understanding of J's, how the balance sheet comes through, how to read that, P&L, cash flows, all those things have to be in place. Fundamentals like ratio analysis, right? How to interpret business, how to read, all are in place. Basics of corporate finance, for example, something like time value of money, right? 1 rupee received today is better than 1 rupee received 2 years down the line, right? How do we calculate this, right? So all those things we get it done very clear in the first month. Along with that, we start communication. So we already have courses on communication. So we make you go through those courses, and we practice that. So after first month, we ask you to make small presentations. We give you small assignments, make a presentation next time. So it's a combination of both things. For example, I might give you some corporate finance assignment and ask you to present to the entire class next time, right? 5 to 10 minutes. So your presentation is also getting done, right? We may have our communications faculty also present at that time. We'll give you perspective from communication. I'll give you perspective from finance side. So we are getting that done. Then we cover banking and capital markets, as I mentioned to you about, how the entire industry works, who are the participants, who are the regulators, which are the self-regulatory organizations, what is the role of each of the participants, right? So all those things we cover in detail, trade life cycle, etc., etc. So, and then we get into analysis and research. How do you do research? How do you do analysis, right? So we are building up to next step, which is financial modeling valuation, right? This is where you actually, start creating something. So earlier also you'll make the presentations, but now you create information memorandum, investor decks, you create financial projections, you give the indication of the valuation, you start writing equity research reports, for example, right? So all those things start getting done here. And in the last month, we introduce you to the technology aspects and final things around presentation. So as I said, Python for finance, right? So that we cover there. We also see to it that, doing all these things is fine, but even if you have to present it to your colleagues, you have to present it to the customer, to your bosses, right? You should be able to present it properly, right? So we go back and make you actually present, all these kind of assignments, all project works that you have done. Present it to us. We'll give you the feedback, where you need to be crisp, where you need to spend more time, how do you emphasize, what has to come first, what has to come later, right? So today you saw, for example, there's a structure to our presentation today, the way we are taking it. We're not saying we are the best in the world and there is no scope for improvement, but there's a logic behind that. How do you present something? We make you present, prepare for the interviews, for example, right? We make you we make sure that you have your LinkedIn profile that is active, you are putting relevant content there, you have your video profiles done, your resume is properly done, because all that becomes a part of presentation. Because the first target for you to is to crack the interview and get a job, right? Next is to perform well on the job. So we are preparing you for both of these. First few years, maybe 2 to 3 years, how you can perform fantastically on the job and how to crack that job, right? This will help you, of course, after 10 years also, but we are looking at maybe next 2 to 3 years where we have a lot of visibility when you join the job. Thereafter, your career can take you many ways, right? So though we are putting you in kind of roles where there are good prospects for growth. So that's what we do. So you can see, in the last bucket, last row, I have put like teamwork, collaboration, process, productivity, tools, interview preparation. So all those things also we get done. So we have prepared it in such a way that, you should be able to crack that interview, convince and be productive on the job. Specifically in next, so let's say first 1 year, right? Be productive on the job. Your bosses, the ones who hired you, should talk very good things about you. I hired XYZ, I hired Prathamesh, and he had a certification from Skill Edge, and I think he's a fantastic person. Why don't we go back next time to Skill Edge and get somebody from there, right? Because that is our objective also. So we are binding, our growth with your growth. You grow, we grow, right? Both ways. And that is why I think, Rohit, you mentioned, so I'll slightly correct yourself. You said there is no investment from your side. Actually, there is a lot of investment from your side, but not money, right? But we need you to be there on time for the sessions. We want you to practice, right? So that investment is there from your side, but not the money investment in a big way, right? But that investment has to come, because most of you are now at stages after 15, 17 years of education. Now you have to get that career, correct? It's very, very important stage, and I can tell you these 4 months will change a lot. Whatever you have learned in last so many years, it will transform you and it will make you eligible for those kind of roles. Yeah, so Rohit, yeah, so this is the first month. I'll not go through this in detail. Just gave you the how first 4 weeks we take you through accounting and like this. I'll not go through in detail, but you can get a gist, right? So there's a plan behind this. We are a bit flexible, but there's a plan behind how this entire course is going to be delivered. But I'll not spend too much time on the first month. You can get the idea, how we're going to take it. Yeah, Rohit.
I think this also, I think very well said, sir. जो course flow है month 1 to 4th month, first month to 4th month, and then the last slide was 4 weeks. पहले month में क्या क्या होगा? So the idea to show is there is a structure to what we are doing, and it's very important for every student to know what is the structure, so that वो दिमाग में रहता है. And one thing is what sir mentioned, मैं पहले से बता दूं आप लोगों को कि हर महीने 2 बैचेस रन होते हैं, और ये सेकंड बैच है जो आप लोग हिस्सा हो रहे हो. तो ये ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप लोग जैसे सर ने कहा इन्वेस्टमेंट को लेकर, यस, एक बहुत मेजर इन्वेस्टमेंट है और वो है आपकी कमिटमेंट. और वो किस तरह की कमिटमेंट मैं बताऊंगा, और तभी स्किल एज में स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं, बिकॉज हमारे पढ़ाने का स्टाइल और हमारे स्ट्रिक्टनेस इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी यूनिक. और वो कैसे है मैं बताऊंगा आने वाले स्लाइड्स में, एक स्लाइड में बताऊंगा मैं. हैविंग सेड दैट, दिस पर्टिकुलर स्लाइड गिव्स यू एन एंटायर बिट ऑफ आइडिया कि क्लासेस में, क्लास के बाहर, क्लास के पहले, क्लास के बाद में क्या क्या होने वाला है. So, जो भी सर ने बोला है वो सारी चीजें यहाँ पे यूज होंगी, एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट्स अ वर्ल्ड क्लास एक्सपीरियंस. अब रही बात कमिटमेंट की, one of the key things for this course is 90% attendance minimum, and that's absolutely mandatory. आप एक पहले महीने के शुरुआत में क्लास में आ रहे हो और फिर 3 हफ्ते बाद आ रहे हो, नहीं चलेगा, unless there is an unavoidable circumstance, जो हमें पहले से पता हो. हर हफ्ते आपको असाइनमेंट दिया जाएगा, एक टाइम दिया जाएगा, और असाइनमेंट उस टाइम पे अपलोड होना है. अगर वो अपलोड नहीं होगा, you are not allowed to come in the class. So you got to realize then there are exams in between the week. और आप उस एग्जाम में क्लियर करोगे तो ही अगली क्लास में आओगे, क्योंकि क्लियर करने का मतलब है आपने ना सिर्फ क्लास ध्यान से सुना बट क्लास को रिवाइज भी किया है। तो वो सारे मैकेनिज्म्स बनाए गए हैं। मैंने पिछले सर ने पिछले 10-12 साल में, मैंने पिछले 15-16 साल में ऐसे ही बच्चों को पढ़ाया है, एंड देन दे हैव रीच्ड द प्लेस वेयर दे हैव रीच्ड। सो मैं एक बात बहुत क्लियरली बोलना चाहूंगा, रोहित, जब आप कहते हो यू हैव ओनली टाइम सैटरडे और संडे, यू हैव टू फिगर आउट टाइम, अगर प्रायोरिटी है तो, ठीक है। सो मैं एक बात बोलना चाहूंगा सबसे, वो और ये है, हम सिर्फ ये नहीं बताएंगे पढ़ना क्या है, हम ये भी बताएंगे पढ़ते कैसे हैं, बिकॉज वो बताया है हम लोगों ने इतने साल 10 लाख 15 लाख बच्चों को। आप अगर फॉलो कर लोगे, यू विल क्रैक व्हाट यू वांट, और उसके बारे में मैं आगे बताने वाला हूं। ऑब्वियसली यू आर गोइंग टू क्रैक दोस 5 जॉब टाइटल्स जो हमने बताया हुआ है इन ए टियर 1 कंपनी, राइट। आगे बढ़ते हैं। सो हाउ डू यू विजुअलाइज योरसेल्फ एट द एंड ऑफ द कोर्स? ये एक क्विक स्नैपशॉट है। जैसे सर ने कहा, हम आपका लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल, हम आपका वीडियो रेज्यूमे, हम आपका डिजिटल रेज्यूमे, ये भी आपसे बनवाएंगे, बिकॉज ये सारी चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट होती है टियर 1 कंपनीज में। So how do you visualize at the end of the course? You visualize yourself like this, equity research analyst. ये anonymous है, इनके नाम हटा दिए गए हैं, but if you realize what is important is the job title, and अगर आप देखो कौन से कॉलेज से हैं, these are all from tier 2 tier 3 colleges, doesn't matter from where they are, right? So this person is from IIEBM in Northern Trust, MIT from in Google, right? Narsi Munji in Deutsche, right? So these are some of the output. This is an output that you will be post the course. All right. So this brings us to the last point. What is the engagement model? अभी किसी ने पूछा fee structure क्या है? जैसे मैंने कहा, there is absolutely we want to democratize the entire course. Democratize का मतलब maximum लोग करे with absolutely zero or minimum investment, while the student are training, while the student are studying. Right? So what is the engagement model? Before I start the engagement model, can I get a quick yes from all the 10 students over here? सारी बातें समझ में आई हैं? Can I get a quick yes from all the 10 students over here? सारी बातें अभी तक समझ में आई? Is it all interesting for all of you? Guys, if you can reply quickly, that will be really great. So Ayushi and Prathamesh and Rohit has replied. Can I get few more replies? Guys, please be fast. अगर समझ में आ गया तो रिप्लाई कर दीजिए, हाँ समझ में आ गया है। नहीं समझ में आया तो नो बोलिए, मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा दोबारा। बट अभी तक सारी बातें समझ में आई क्या? यू नीड टू रिस्पॉन्ड, because that is the difference between hearing, and listening. सुनने और समझने में यही फर्क है, क्योंकि जब समझते हैं तब रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं। अगर सिर्फ सुना और समझा नहीं तो आप रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर सकते। That's the science of learning, if you realize what I'm talking. और ये हर रोज सुनते हैं हम अपने पेरेंट्स से कि हम सुनते हैं पर समझते नहीं है। थिंक ओवर इट जो मैं कह रहा हूं। तो अगर समझ में आया तो प्लीज रिप्लाई करिए। May I know who have not replied? रविंद्र, आपको समझ में आया? प्रिया समझ में आया? प्रतीक्षा, हितेश, दीपानिता, is that all clear to all of you? Guys, would have expected a few more replies, that would have really helped. Or believe me, in classes, ये already a class है, right? When we move into the technical class, अगर आप reply नहीं करोगे, things don't go ahead. That's how it is. We are being very strict on that. So अगर एक दो लोग और reply करेंगे, so that I can go ahead. Deepanita, is that clear to all of you as of now? Ravindra, Priya Sharma, Priyanka has replied. So Priya Sharma. Which only means either I am not audible to you, or okay, thanks Priya, thanks for the reply, or you are not in front of the computer, as simple as that. All right. Thanks, Priya. Thanks, Pratiksha, for the reply. Thank you. Let's talk about the engagement model. So this is the engagement model that we are talking about. आप लोग अभी step 2 में हो, which is the induction program. So this is the step 2. You spoke to our skill advisor and you are in step 2 right now, which is the induction class. You are the class of 20th Feb 2021. Step 3 is the 4-month program that you will go through. And step 4 and step 5, the engagement model, you pay only after getting a job of minimum 5 lakh salary. That's the commitment from our side in terms of your preparation and in terms of putting you across in front of the companies जो already on board आ चुकी हैं और पिछले कुछ दिनों से, कुछ हफ्तों से और आने वाले दिनों में और आ रही हैं, where companies are agreeing to pay minimum 5 lakh salary for these job titles for students who are able to successfully graduate from the program and give successful interview. So our team will work with you till the time you crack an interview, and you pay only after that. You don't pay anything before that. There is only a registration fees that you pay, and that too of that too of only 4,000 rupees. That's it for the entire course. That's the registration fees that you pay. So the engagement is very clear. There is a registration fees of 4,000 rupees that you pay, and you don't pay anything. There's a minimum commitment of 5 lakh rupees from the company. If you get 5 lakh rupees, then only you pay. Otherwise, you don't pay anything till the time you get 5 lakh. Suppose you get 7 lakh rupees, for example, but you don't pay on 7 lakh. You only pay on 5 lakh rupees only, as far as your minimum CTC is concerned, right? Either you can pay in 2 years or you can pay one time. It's all dependent on you. How are you comfortable, right? But the idea is you only pay after getting a job of that minimum salary. That's the whole point. I want to highlight few points. This is the last slide. I want to highlight few points. And जो मैंने engagement model की बात मैंने की है, that during the course, there will be email exchanges, there will be drafts given to you. It will be signed on a piece of paper, and all those things will be done. जितनी भी चीजें जरूरी है उसको करने के लिए. It is very important that also one more thing I want to highlight, that you are starting a course. You cannot leave the course after 2 months. You just can't. Because why you can't leave the course? It's as simple as that. आप जब कॉलेज में एंट्री लेते हो 6 महीने बाद आप कॉलेज से निकल नहीं सकते. अगर आप निकलते हो तो पूरी फीस वापस नहीं मिलती है. You got to realize that. In this case, if you are entering the course and after 1 month you say I don't want to do the course, within a month, then still fine. But after a month, there will be a penalty. Why? Because there's already an investment that has gone to you. The kind of people, the kind of training, the kind of content that you hear. और जहां तक हमारा experience रहा है, कोई छोड़ना चाहता भी नहीं है, क्योंकि everybody wants to be in a tier 1 company. Everybody wants to have that kind of career जो कि एक operation level पे finance को चाहिए. मैं पहला point clear करना चाहता हूं. We are not a placement agency. We are not a training institute. जो रेगुलर ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स होते हैं कि आप जाइए और प्लेसमेंट करवाएंगे, वी आर नॉट लाइक दैट. वी आर अ स्किलिंग कंपनी, एंड बिलीव मी, आप ऐसे तैयार हो जाओगे कि आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कब आपने एक टियर 1 कंपनी क्रैक कर दिया. ये हमें पता है. यस, वी विल ऑल्सो हेल्प यू टू गेट दैट मिनिमम 5 लाख का सैलरी. वी विल हेल्प यू, बट डू नॉट कंसिडर कमिंग टू अ कंपनी मेरी प्लेसमेंट हो जाएगी. मेहनत आपको ही करनी है. कमिटमेंट लेवल आपका रहेगा तो हमारी पूरी मेहनत आपकी तरफ रहेगी जब तक आप इंटरव्यू क्रैक नहीं करते. दैट्स नंबर 1. और यही किया है मैंने, सर ने और बाकी सारे मेंटर्स ने ओवर द इयर्स, लाखों बच्चों के साथ. नंबर 2, जो कमिटेड स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको जो वैल्यू मिलेगा उसका कोई, और मेरे को ये बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं है बार बार. आपने कोर्स सिलेबस देखा, आपने कोर्स के लोग देखे, तो अंदाजा मिल गया होगा कि इस तरह की चीजें तो कभी सुनी ही नहीं कॉलेज में, ना कभी इंटरेक्ट किया. और आप मुझसे आप सुन रहे हो तो मेरे को सुनते आपको समझ में आ रहा होगा कि द काइंड ऑफ पैशन विथ विच दिस कंटेंट विल गो टू यू विल डेफिनेटली चेंज ओनली इफ यू वांट टू चेंज एंड वांट टू बी इन दैट लीग. अगर रहना है उस लीग में तो आना, नहीं तो मत आना. एंड आई एम बीइंग वेरी क्लियर ऑन दिस. बाय द वे, मार्च महीने से वी आर गोइंग टू टेक एन एंट्रेंस टेस्ट फॉर दिस कोर्स. एनीबडी कैन नॉट एंटर द कोर्स. हमारा प्लान ये था, फरवरी मंथ में जो भी आना चाहे, we will not take an entrance test, but we are very clear from the next month we will take an entrance test, because दिल और दिमाग बहुत strong चाहिए इस course में. Because you got to understand, right? हम as a skilling provider company, how do we grow? We grow when you grow, and how you grow when you get the job. उसकी जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? उसकी जिम्मेदारी हमारी है कि आप उतना तैयार हो जाओ. अगर आप उस तरह तैयार हो गए, ऑटोमेटिकली प्लेसमेंट होगा. अभी प्लेसमेंट होता क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि तैयार नहीं है. प्लेसमेंट इसलिए नहीं होता है क्योंकि जॉब नहीं है. प्लेसमेंट इसलिए नहीं होता क्योंकि तैयार नहीं है. हम वो वाला एलिमेंट ही ब्लॉक कर देंगे कि आप पूरी तरह से तैयार हो, होगा प्लेसमेंट. एंड देयर इज नो फाइनेंशियल बर्डन टू द पेरेंट्स. एब्सोल्युटली, वी आर वेरी क्लियर विद दैट. पेरेंट्स ने मदद की ग्रेजुएशन करने के लिए, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करने के लिए. अब आपकी जिम्मेदारी है अलग लेवल पे पहुंचने के लिए. एंड दैट्स हाउ वी आर हेल्पिंग स्टूडेंट्स. आपके तरह के बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स अलग अलग कोर्सेज कर रहे हैं स्किल एज में, इंक्लूडिंग दिस कोर्स, बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ वी आर हेल्पिंग देम एंड प्रिपेयरिंग देम फॉर द न्यू एज करियर in technology, in management, which is the finance, as well as in engineering. That's it from my side. This is what the induction session is all about. I hope you enjoyed it. मैं quickly summarize कर देता हूँ. You came to know about the company. You came to know about sir, me, and the course mentors. You came to know about the emerging careers in finance. You also came to know about the course in detail and the engagement model. This is our induction session. आप सारे लोग इस बैच का हिस्सा हो. आपका एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाया जाएगा और उस ग्रुप में आपको वेडनेसडे, आपको आने वाले वीक का स्केड्यूल दे दिया जाएगा, ताकि आपको पता हो स्केड्यूल क्या है. आने वाले वीक का स्केड्यूल वीकेंड का स्केड्यूल होगा जो आपको दे दिया जाएगा, सो दैट यू कैन प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ. हो सकता है कुछ प्री रीड आपको दिया जाए, हो सकता है, क्योंकि हमारे क्लासेस के बाद हम पोस्ट रीड, प्री रीड एज वेल एज असाइनमेंट्स हम देते रहते हैं. जैसे मैंने कहा, टेस्ट देते हैं, आपको क्लियर करना पड़ता है, असाइनमेंट पूरा करना पड़ता है, तब आप अगली क्लास में आ पाते हो. ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर देयर. प्लस वन मोर थिंग, आपकी परफॉर्मेंस ट्रैक होती है हर हफ्ते की. 4 महीना है, मतलब 16 से लेकर 20 हफ्ते के बीच में, और ये परफॉर्मेंस कंपनीज को भेजा जाता है, सो दैट कंपनीज ऑल्सो नो कौन परफॉर्म कर रहा है. सो इट्स अ कॉम्पिटिशन विद इन कॉम्पिटिशन. इफ यू रियलाइज, वी वांट यू टू बी वेरी कॉम्पिटिटिव, राइट? सो that's the way we are approaching this particular entire program or course. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, me and Shailendra sir are happy to answer. This is the entire set of number, website, social media handle. Social media handle follow करिए, बहुत कुछ चीजें होती हैं. YouTube पे subscribe करिए. There are many things that keeps on happening on social media of Skill Edge. आप बहुत कुछ चीजें सीखते हो सोशल मीडिया को फॉलो करते हुए भी, सो वो आप कर सकते हो डेफिनेटली. बट आई एम हैप्पी टू आंसर एनी क्वेश्चंस इफ यू हैव. वाज इट इंटरेस्टिंग गाइस? वाज इट समथिंग दैट इज वेरी आई ओपनिंग? इज समथिंग दैट इज वेरी इज लाइक, हाँ ये तो इंटरेस्टिंग है, ये करना चाहिए, तो जाके हम वहां पहुंचेंगे, समथिंग लाइक दैट? कैन आई गेट सम फ्यू responses? Was it helpful for your understanding? Was the content beneficial for you? Guys, can I get some response? कोई सवाल है तो आप पूछ सकते हो, otherwise how is it? Was it helpful? Yeah? Okay. Prathamesh, thank you for your response. Thank you. So if you have no other questions, I think then we can finish the induction session. You can get an access to this recording for sure. आप अपने skill advisor से बात कर definitely you can get the access of this recording. You can do the registration by Wednesday. In fact, by Tuesday end of the day or Wednesday morning, you can do the registration and your classes start. Wednesday को आपका WhatsApp group बन जाएगा and you will be given the schedule for the coming weekend. There are more students coming up now. So in a batch, we are going to keep maximum, I would say maximum 25 is what we plan to keep. That's not beyond 25. So I think we will have 10 to 12 students in one batch. That's perfectly fine because हर किसी का commitment बहुत जरूरी है. आप लोगों के आपस में discussion शुरू हो जाएंगे. We will also build a community also among the students so that kind of collaborative learning will be very useful. Collaborative learning is the key. और वो होना बहुत जरूरी है, right? So I think, sir, if there are no other questions, we can stop the session right now. And thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining in. Thank you all who have joined. It's an absolute pleasure to talking to you, as always. And we look forward to meet you again for the next session, which is the class 1 or week 1, class 1 of this particular course. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in, sir. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, sir.